This video is going to be about the search features and options of the myPJV Bible reading app. The myPJV app provides search options that range from the relatively simple through to reasonably complex logical searches. One neat feature of the app is it allows you to search either the King James Version or the Pastor John's version of the Bible. This will be the first of, I think, 3 videos in which I'll cover the search feature. This video will cover what I call the basic search capabilities. The second video will cover the subject of advanced logical searches, and the third video will talk about verse list searches. The first 2 videos will cover text searches. The third is how to retrieve verses by reference. Okay, I'm going to use the desktop installed version of the app because it's a nice clean interface. It's larger. I can make it larger, so I think it's clearer to see what's going on. There are 2 search pages in the myPJV app. One I call the basic search and the other the advanced search. By default, the app is set to open the basic search page. I'll click on the search icon here, the magnifying glass, and here you see the basic search page. You have these 3 options: the control, find, all of, any of, exact. You have a box in which you can type the search words. This drop list here retains a history of the search terms that you've already used, and the green button here, search, performs the actual search. The results will appear below. The second, let me just go back there. All of the features of the basic search page are found in the advanced search page, so for the rest of this video I'm going to use the advanced page. So to cause the app to open the advanced search page by default, you need to go into the settings option by clicking the gear wheel, and you see in the middle here there's 3 options under search. Advanced search with a button that's currently off. The search results per page, which is set to 50. That's the number of results that will be shown at a time. So if there's more than 50 results, you have to move through the pages of results. And the number 20 here is the default number of search history items that are kept in that drop list box. So right now we want to turn on advanced search by tapping the button. It's now on. These other defaults can be varied to suit yourself. Search results per page can be varied from 10 through to 100 by tapping or dragging along the slider, but I'm going to leave it at 50. And the search history items can likewise be set from 10 through to 100, but I'll leave it at 20 for the moment. Okay, so we've turned the advanced search on. Click the left arrow to go back to the Bible text, and now when you click search icon, it comes up with the myPJV advanced search. I'm going to select all. So I'm just going to clear that search word box. Okay. At the top you have 3 rows of options. The first line allows you to select which version of the Bible you're going to perform the search in, either Pastor John's version or the King James Version. The second line controls which part of the Bible that the search is carried out in. Either when you select all, that would be the whole Bible. You tap on the OT option, that means the Old Testament, or you can search just in the New Testament. And now I'll leave that on all. The third line, and there's an extra option here compared to the basic search screen, you have the options for all, any, exact, or verse list. I'm not going to talk about verse list in this video. All means that every word that we enter in this search word box must be found in the verse in order for it to match. All the words have to be found that can be in any order. If you select the any option, that means any one or more of the words that you enter must be found in a verse for it to match. And again, order does not matter. And exact is exactly what it says. The words must be found, all the words must be found, and they must be in the order that you enter them, and there can be no words in between. So it's an exact match to what you type in. So I am going to search, for purposes of example here, for God created. And I'm going to search in the Pastor John's version, whole Bible, and I require that all of these words be found. Now when I tap on the search button here, this search will be added to the history. That's when it's saved. The results will appear under here. And there it is. There are 20 verses in the Pastor John's version, and remember, at the present time we have translated approximately 80% of the Bible. So there's about 6,500 verses in the Old Testament that have not been translated, and there are some verses that have not been completely translated. So just remember that when you're searching in the Pastor John's version, that it's only about 80% complete. That's another reason why I put in the option for searching the King James Bible. Okay, so we have 20 verse matches. That is less than 50, which was the default number of results per page that are displayed. So all 20 results will be on this page. And they're from the whole Bible. So the last one is in Revelation 4:11. You notice that the words that you're searching for, God and created, are highlighted. And you will see that in every verse, both of those words occur at least once. If you look at Genesis 1:27, we have God created, but we also have God by itself, then created, and then created again. So they all match. Now, if you want, say the last search result here, Revelation 4:11, if you wanted to go and read that verse in context, in that part of the Bible, in Revelation chapter 4, you simply click or tap on the verse reference. Where I have the mouse now, if you click, and here you are back in the Bible. You're now in the Bible reading part of the app, and from here you can just read the Bible as normal. You can scroll up, well, you can't scroll this page because it's short, but the left or right arrow, or you can swipe to change chapters and just read the Bible and do whatever you want. When you come back to chapter 4, the verse 11 is not highlighted. I'll just go. No, I won't do that just yet. When you come directly from the search page, the verse that you clicked on in the search results will be highlighted yellow. Now, if I click on the search icon again, you notice it goes back to where you were in the search, and it scrolls down to Revelation 4:11, and you notice that the verse is in a in a grey color. That's just to remind you of the last verse that you clicked on. If you're going through and reading the context for every verse, it's just helpful to remind you where you're up to. Now I want to show, I'm going to close the app and reopen it and show you something. Just click on the icon. Okay, first of all, it opens up in the Bible text, and it remembers that the last place we were reading in was Revelation chapter 4. So it remembers that place. And if I click on search, you see again it comes to Revelation 4:11 and scrolls down. Now at this point, if you want to start a new search, the quickest way to get there is if you're using the buttons, is to click the up arrow or the go top button that appears if you've turned these arrows off. That takes you back up to the top of the page, and then click this X, will clear the search words, and you can type in a new search, set your settings, and then click search for that. But I want to use God created again, so it's the top of the list, so it will automatically select. But I have a few other searches in here that I'm going to use later in this video, like in the beginning. If I click there, those words are put in the search words, but I want God created. Okay, so I'm going to change the option for the find option to any. So now when I click search, it's going to find verses which have any one of those two words. It can have both or just one of them. So there were 20 results when it was all. Now for the any, there's 3,136 because the word God is common. And you'll see here in Genesis 1:2, 1:3, 1:4, only the word God was found as a match. In Genesis 1:1 we have God and we have the word created. So there are now 3,136 matches. And it's displaying searches, matches from 1 through 50. So if we click on the right arrow, we now have the second page of searches, search matches 51 to 100, and third page, fourth page, and so on. Now scroll down to the bottom, Genesis 41:25, and if we click on that verse reference, here we are in Genesis 41:25, and the verse is highlighted. We can move around. We're supposed to be able to move around. That is a bug. Let's go back to search and click on 41:25. Well, that's really weird because it worked this time and it didn't work the time before. That is just one of the joys of being a programmer. I'll have to have a look at that, but as far as I know, that works every time. Well, I don't know. Normally it would be highlighted and then you could move through the chapters like I showed before. So if I return to the search, you see it comes back to the same place on the fourth page of results. So again, you can just go up and X out the search words box if you want to enter a new search. I want God created again. And notice it's here twice. God created. So what's the difference? At the moment, if I click the first one, there it is with any selected. If I click the second one, it goes back to the all search. So when these are saved, they're actually saved with these settings. Problem is you can't tell from this list. This is a behavior I may change because I'm not quite sure this is terribly useful. I may either just by default set it to all or just leave this at whichever button has been is currently selected. So I want God created and I'm going to set it to exact. And now we will only find verses that have God followed by created. And that won't be nearly so many as just 9. So we have the exact match for God created. And there are 9 and then 7 of them are in the Old Testament and 2 in the New Testament. So I'll use this to demonstrate the section. If I click on Old Testament and tap search, you see I just get 7 matches. And now if I select New Testament, I get 2 matches. So 7 plus 2 is 9. You go back to the whole Bible and there's all 9 matches. So that's the exact match. And if you happen to hit a couple of spaces between the word, it doesn't matter. The search method just treats space as space. It doesn't matter how many actual spaces there are. If there's a space between the word, it matches. So you don't have to be too careful about typing here. I think you can put space at the front, you can type spaces at the end, and it still works exactly the same. All the extra spaces are basically ignored. Now, using this search, and well, let's just set it to all, and the whole Bible. Now, I want to search, show you how to use this King James version option. But select King James. It will now search for the words God created in the King James Bible. Tap search, and you notice we now have 32 matches. Well, actually there are 16 because there are 2 verses returned for each match. A verse from the King James Version, you see the KJV before the verse, and the corresponding verse from the Pastor John's version, PJV. It's only highlighted yellow in the King James Version. So there are actually 16 matches, whereas in the Pastor John's version I believe there were 20. So there are some differences in translation, and if we just scroll through, we might be able to find an example. And here in Isaiah 42:5, we see, "Thus saith God the Lord, He that created the heavens." Pastor John's version is, "Thus says the Lord God, Creator of the heavens." So there's this, it's similar, but there's a difference. And there's similarly in Isaiah 45:18, we have created in God. In Pastor John's version, we have Creator and God. So you'll be able to see some differences between King James translation and our translation. But another really good use of the King James version search, this is an example I gave in the opening video, but I'll do it again. If you wanted to look up the verse in Ecclesiastes that speaks about time and chance, I think it happens to all men, or something like that, but you don't know how we've translated it in the Pastor John's version, and a lot of us know the King James version words a lot better than the Pastor John's version words. So type in time and chance, and we want to find all of those words, and we think that's what it is in the King James. So we now search. You could restrict this to Old Testament because you probably know it's in Ecclesiastes. So search. Okay, and it returns two matches, well, one verse, Ecclesiastes 9:11. And there it is, "But time and chance happens to them all." In our translation, "But time and circumstance meet them all." So you can use this King James search to find verses using your familiarity with the King James text. So then you can read it in our translation. Now, some of these other searches I've got here, thought in the beginning was a good example. If we go for all, we're just finding verses that have in, the, and beginning in them. And in Genesis 49:3, it matches the beginning, but the word in occurs twice later in the verse. If we go to any, we get a lot of results, 18,813, because the words in and the are pretty common. If we go for exact, there are just 9. Now there may be more in the Old Testament that we have not yet translated. So the way to check for that is to select King James Version. Now tab search, and you see it's actually 34 divided by 2, so there's 17 matches, and there may be examples of verses that we have not translated. And here's one here, 2 Samuel 21:9, in the beginning of the barley harvest, in the verse. And you see Pastor John's verse is blank. That simply means that we have not translated it. Ezra 4:6 is the same, we have not translated it. Jeremiah 26:1, 27:1, and so on. So you can use that. If it's the wording is similar in the King James, you can get all the King James and what we have translated in the Pastor John's version. Now, one more here. I'm going to search for and the. Now notice this, the previous search had 18,000 odd matches, and that was okay. But there is a memory limitation that's somewhat dependent on device and browser. And I've chosen this and the, and let's go any. So either and or the. Now they're very, very common words. And you get this message, which we actually saw at the beginning of the video. Search matches 1 of 1. Now the one match is this line, so there are actually 21,409 results. Currently the app stores the text of the search results and other information about the searches. And when there are 21,409 verses, it uses more memory than the app is allowed to access in the browser specific storage. So you get this message, too many search results, please refine your search to reduce the number of matches. Now, the previous searcher did 18,000 odd searches, any search you do that produces that many results probably isn't very useful anyway, and you need to sharpen it up to get fewer results. So I don't think this is not really a practical limit, because you wouldn't really be looking to do search results that return so many verses. Okay, well, I think I've covered the advanced search options here. In the next video, I'm going to talk about logical searches. If you think about all, let me just get up in the beginning again. Okay, we want all of these words. So you can think of the key word is and. The verse must contain in, and, the, and beginning. When we select any, the keyword is all. The verse must contain either, in, or, the, or beginning. It has to be one of them. And selecting all or any separates those ideas of and or. But there are ways to combine it so you can have a search that logically searches for something that must be there and something else that must be there, but that something else may be a choice between this or that. And how to do that is what I'll cover in the next video.